What is going on, my people? I am so excited on this Monday. Yes, a holiday, but we're up grinding. Welcome into the Profit First Show. We're going to get this thing started. I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is running smoothly. Like always, as you guys are attending the show, you can go ahead and chat in the chat bubble, and I will have the comments show up live during the show. And between each segment, I will go ahead and respond, and we can have a great conversation, whether you agree or disagree with what my opinion is, my beliefs are, and as we react to what's going on in the financial, economic, and social world and political world in the United States. All right. So I want to make sure everything's working clear. Hope you guys had a great first day of your work week. Um, we got so many topics we're going to cover this week. I'm really excited for that. So make sure you tune in. Let's go ahead and change this thumbnail real quick, and then we're going to get started. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys like the content. And of course, if you're watching this and we're not live anymore, as many of you will watch the lives after they're already made, I appreciate all the support. Make sure you leave your thoughts and your comments in the comment section down below. Let's get this thing started, man. All right. Also, another update before we even get into the first video and topic of tonight. You guys can submit videos and topics you want me to react to. Once you see them on social media, you can send them to the email down below, and I will react to those as well. All right, because I know it's a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening in the economy and on social media that people are admitting and having opinions about. And honestly, I can't do all the work. All right. You know what I'm saying? I can't find every single story out there that's crazy that I should react to. I know you have heard some crazy stories. You've heard things that should be, you know, um, talked about and discussed. And I would love for you all to send in those because, hey, what better way for you to have um, something that you want to shared with one of your favorite creators? All right. Anyways, let's get into the first topic of today, which is an employee from Ruby Tuesday getting fired on Christmas Day. I really want to hear what's been going on. His story has been blowing up. So let's hear what's going on. Subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right. Let me go ahead and actually. I want to join real quick. Make sure we're running smooth. One sec. All right, cool. All right, let's get this thing started, man.
I got fired from my job on Christmas. On Christmas. After 19 years working for the company. I'm not going to say their name, but it rhymes with Booby Poos Day. Okay? I started as a server when I was 19 years old. Became a bartender. I did shift leading for a while. I was assistant general manager for years, and then I finally became the general manager. I'm very proud of that. I worked really hard for that. 19 years, I never missed a day.
I'm not able to hear the audio myself right now. Fix that real quick. All right, 1 second.
I got fired from my job on Christmas. On Christmas. After
Not sure why it wants to act up for me while we're up here.
$19 years working for the company.
Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. All right, false alarm. Cool. Here we go. Let's get it.
I got fired from my job on Christmas. On Christmas. After 19 years working for the company. I'm not going to say their name, but it rhymes with Booby Poos Day. Okay? I started as a server when I was 19 years old. Became a bartender. I did shift leading for a while. I was assistant general manager for years, and then I finally became the general manager. Very proud of that. I worked really hard for that. 19 years, I never missed a day of work. I've always showed up. I've always been consistent. Always done everything. I've watched the company go from 1,000 stores down to 195. I've went the whole way with the company. They decided they were going to be open on Christmas Day this year. So first of all, I had to tell my family and my kids that I was going to miss Christmas dinner and all of that and all the activities and family time to go to work. What I didn't want to do was just make my employees work. So I took volunteers. The company didn't pay an extra dime to work on Christmas Day. No holiday pay, no bonus pay, no time and a half, no double time, nothing. But they expected me to just make people work, which I didn't want to do. I work in a college town. Most of them were at home on break with their families. The few people I had around town that were still working, they wanted Christmas off. They wanted to spend time with their families on Christmas like they should, like I wanted to. So I had 3 volunteers that were willing to work on Christmas. There was no previous sales. There was nothing really to base that on. We were only going to be open from 4 to 9. So we were going to run it with the 4 of us. I talked to my boss about it. He's like, that's not enough. He's like, you need more people. You got to make more people work with no incentive on Christmas Day. I couldn't get anybody else to work. I couldn't make anybody work. I was not going to fire anybody for not working on Christmas. So the 4 of us did the absolute best we could, and we got killed. I cooked all the food by myself. I had a host, I had a server, and I had a brand new shift leader first day out of training that was trying to help out wherever she could. She started out cooking with me for a while, and then they started filling up in the front, and the whole place filled up. And I've never seen so many to-go orders come in within a few hour span ever. Apparently we were the only place open in town. I did the best I could. I cooked by myself. I cooked thousands of dollars worth of sales and food till about 8 o'clock. We were supposed to close at 9. By 8 o'clock, I was almost out of prep. Both sides of my line were empty. I was running back and forth to the cooler. Both sides of my screens were both still full. The restaurant was still full. I didn't know what to do. We were all overwhelmed. We ended up closing the front door 1 hour early at 8 so we could finish taking care of all the people inside the restaurant and finish up the to-go orders that we could not turn off. I cannot turn off the to-go orders. They would stop at 9. So I finished cooking what I had for all of those people, ran back and forth, prepped some things on the fly to get those people taken care of, to get the to-go orders all taken care of, to get to 9 o'clock. We closed, 4 of us closed the entire restaurant. I closed the entire kitchen by myself. We washed thousands of dollars worth of dishes. We were all there very late at night. And then I got fired for my efforts. So I already got another job. I'm starting at the bottom. I had to just grab a job. I had to grab a server job. I'm in training. After 19 years, I'm in training to be a server at another restaurant. And man, what a gut punch. To be the person that is in charge of everything and knows the answer to every question and has put in all of that work just thrown away. I know I have comparable skills. I know I have experience. I know that eventually I will get another job, but the market is tough right now, man. It is not a good time to be trying to get a new job without preparing for that. And I wasn't prepared for this. I don't know. I guess I'm making this video because I just need some good vibes thrown my way. I need some comeback stories. I need some of those stories of people that found that really good job after something bad like this. My wife just got a second job. And, man, I've always been the breadwinner in our family, and I got a mortgage and 2 kids and car payment and everything else. And man, I feel like it kind of turned my life upside down real quick. But I trust in God. God has my back, and if He's got me, who can be against me, right?
Facts.
And I have so many people that support everything that I've ever done on here, and obviously this is not my normal type of content. I'm a TV collector, and I like VHS tapes and movies. So
Okay, so before we even get into that, like, shout out to him for shouting out Guy. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's the only thing you have to depend on. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely feel for him because I've been in situations where a job has let me go. But the thing is, I've never had a kid. I've never had a wife. I've never had a mortgage. I've had bills to pay. I can only imagine how stressful it can be being in a situation, especially him being the breadwinner and his wife picking up a second job. Now, I'm not sure about you, but we have men and women watching this show. And as a man, I wouldn't want my wife to have to pick up two jobs in order to help out with the family. That seems like the best route for him to go in right now as he's getting back on his 2 feet. So I know he's grateful, but it's also like, dang, it hits home. It hits harder than just a paycheck. It hits your loved ones. It affects the kids. It affects the mortgage. It affects the car note. Like, people can get their cars repoed. I was looking for a reason why Ruby Tuesday even fired this guy for even showing up to the job and then performing and then serving people and then still making the company money. It's crazy. You know what? This just goes to show that companies don't care about employees. Bottom line, we are not in an era where these companies have feelings for employees. They're still going to operate with or without you. And maybe they have a rough start once they let you go. But the whole problem with this is, and this is for my man right here, not being prepared. He admitted it himself. A lot of people like to cry wolf and let go of something called accountability, right? They always like to blame the job. Oh, the job let me go. It's not fair, right? They sound like children. He's owning up to his shit. I respect that. You know why? Because he admitted he wasn't prepared. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. That's one of my mentors. My mentors taught me that early on into entrepreneurship. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Okay? How are you planning out your days? What are you working on after you get off your 9 to 5? What's happening with your 5 to 9? No, you don't have to run a Fortune 500 company, but so many people are lazy as hell with creating their own streams of income. They're lazy with learning how to invest their money. And then they run into a problem like this, and then they're like, man, wife got to pick up a second job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he was lazy. I'm saying he said he wasn't prepared. And for whatever excuse he may have when it came down to extra streams of revenue, I hope this helps him learn that lesson. Because this doesn't happen for any reason. I believe things happen for us, not to us. You see, the people who have a victim mindset say, oh, it happened to me, right? Oh, these just type of things just happened to me, right? And they see it from a victim lens. I don't see these type of problems from a victim lens. I see problems as possible solutions to future problems. I've been through this again, so how can I avoid it? Or before I even get into this scenario, how can I avoid it? I'm looking at what this situation can teach me, you, and also him. It's not just picking up another 9 to 5. I promise you that. And when people say things like, oh, the job market is just trash, no, the job market is trash for those who are lazy looking for a job. I can't tell you how many people that are my age, I'm 27 years old, have told me, oh, I've applied to 200 jobs, 300 jobs, 400 jobs. And I used to think, you know what? They deserve a job. This is what I was when I was a full-blown entrepreneur, because I'm working a 9 to 5 right now and doing this show, creating YouTube videos. But I used to think that my friends explaining how they applied to 200, 300, 400 jobs, I'm like, man, why wouldn't they hire this person? They applied to that many jobs. They deserve a job. First of all, you don't deserve a thing. You come into this industry with entitlement, you're going to get destroyed. You're going to get destroyed. Oh, I applied to this many. No, you went on your phone, wherever my phone is at. You went on your phone and you clicked a button 300 times. and it submitted the same resume 300 times. But how many people did you call 300 times? How many people did you knock on doors 300 times? How many videos did you send to the business email about you being the best employee that they could ever hire 300 times? Not many people, probably nobody out of all of my friends. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about my friends, I'm talking about society as a whole. So I don't think this is a job problem. I think this is a being too comfortable where you're at. And if you're comfortable, you cannot grow. When you get in the gym, you work out, you become uncomfortable. Your muscles get sore. So guess what? Over time, your muscles grow, you change your clothes, you become more fit, you become more athletic, and guess what? You have to challenge yourself over and over and over and over again in order for you to continue improving. Otherwise, you're just going to get comfortable and your body's going to adapt and you're not going to see any progress. The same way this happens in finances and job security. You're not secure because you have a 9 to 5 and you've been working 19 years. This man been working 19 years, never missed a day. Never missed a day. I'm 27 years old. I was 8 years old when he started working at Ruby Tuesday. If this isn't a telltale sign that these jobs don't care, there's no such thing as job security, and you better work your ass off to have multiple streams of income. If these aren't these signs that I just talked about, if this isn't the sign of those three things just right there, I don't know what is. What are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content, man. All right, my people, we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic, which is, I guess it's a trend for truckers quitting. Now, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people who have their CDL license and they're actually quitting trucking for a specific reason. We're going to find out and react to them. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, especially if you're in the trucking industry. All right, let's get it.
So after that crazy run, I put all that money to start my trucking company. So I got a truck, got a 52-inch trailer, found parking for my truck and trailer through this guy. Keep this guy in mind because he's gonna scam me for over 5 figures later on in this video. Managed to find a driver and hired him on. Mind you, whole time I don't have a CDL and I don't even know how to drive a truck. So what's the next logical thing to do? I had to take this guy on a test drive to see if he can actually drive the truck. So we start dispatching this guy. I mean me and my brother. We taught ourselves how to dispatch trucks in a matter of like 2 weeks. I'm 20, he's 18. And we're sitting in our basement directing a 40-year-old and a 52-inch trailer, telling him where to go. First trip, sent him to Colorado, sent him to Cali, sent him to Texas. Everything was going smooth until it wasn't. So the truck ends up breaking down in Ohio. It's cold, it's 5 degrees below zero. This guy, my driver, he abandons the truck on the side of the highway with 40,000 pounds of cat food that has to be delivered. So remember this guy? So I parked my truck and trailer in his parking lot, paying this guy like $1,800 a month just for the parking spot alone. Since he's been in the game for so long, he has connections to all types of people in the trucking industry. So he eventually helps me find a trucker that flies out to Ohio. They pick up the 40,000 pounds of cat food and they deliver it. He also helped me get my truck back from Ohio to New Jersey. But at this point, I'm already down over like $15,000. Diesel cost, I'm paying $5,000 a month in insurance and the truck wasn't moving, so I'm not making any money. It cost me like $1,500 just to have that one driver pick up the trailer with the 40,000 pounds of cat food. It cost me around another $1,000 to have this orange truck go and pick up my truck from Ohio to New Jersey. The whole thing was just a mess. So back to this guy. So eventually when I fix my truck, I start running my truck underneath his MC, which is just his company in the trucking industry. I'm young, I don't know any better. So this guy asked for $10,000 up front to pay for insurance. I don't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, I guess. Long story short, he steals the money, doesn't pay me back. And if you tally up everything, the truck, the trailer, all the expenses for my truck breaking down and having it shipped back here, I lost around $60K. And that is how I made.
What the hell, bro? What the hell, bro? So many problems. Now, I read the comments section before I even watched this video. This is my first time watching the video, by the way. But I read the comment section. A lot of people were like, bro, you started a trucking business and you don't even have your own CDL. I don't really think that's the problem, right? And a lot of people who work a job think that you have to know how the job works in order for you to own the business. Not necessarily. For example, when McDonald's first became popularized and franchised, a lot of people would think, oh, you need to know how to cook fries and know how to make the burger and know how to, make the milkshake and whatnot. But really what blew McDonald's up was being able to monetize their own real estate. So basically, instead of just placing McDonald's in places and the owner of McDonald's would make money because they made the burgers, what would happen is they would buy the real estate and then market out to people who wanted to own the franchise. And so they would rent out the lot that they purchased to the people who wanted to own that specific location franchise. So they would be making, the owner would be making the money, Ray Kroc would be earning the money, most of his profits from the real estate that the franchise owner was renting from. A lot of people wouldn't know that. If you study business, you understand that sometimes you don't need to know everything about the business, you need to know the business model. And so I think that, this is just my opinion, but he got into trucking because trucking is an industry where you can make good amounts of money. But for me, I like risk management. I'd rather spend more time creating an asset rather than taking out debt. I'm not sure if my man had all that cash to spend. He said he lost 60 grand. That's not cool, whether you're borrowing money or you actually have the money. But what I do respect is the tenacity to take that risk. But losing 60K up front like that, and you got scammed, you can miss me with that. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content.
I'm on Peterbilt right here. I parked it up a couple days ago. Reason being is because just these loads aren't paying. I've been checking out the load board, and all these loads, they're paying trash. If y'all know something, a little gig I can get into, put my Peterbilt to work at. It have to be specifically a flatbed. It could be anything else, that's worth, some good money, because if not, then I'm just gonna park my truck and just figure out what I do. And because economy is kind of trash right now, so we're trying to see what we do. Any dedicated loads, like any freaking, I'd love to do cattle hauling. I'd love to learn some of that. Some low boy work, RGN, some dedicated stuff, something that's above than what I was doing. I'm not trying to go any lower.
So it sounds like my man is another entrepreneur who's a trucker. It sounds like he's working for his own company, or his own self. Let me know, how does trucking work in this industry? I've heard that obviously you can work for a trucking or some type of dispatch company, and you don't have to get your own truck. But it sounds like my man got his own truck. Hopefully he didn't get a loan. Again, I don't believe in going into negative equity in order for you to start a business. All right. Some businesses you have to do that in. Them businesses ain't for me. I don't know about you, but let me know. Have you ever started a business in negative equity and it became a success? And I'm not talking about a couple dollars, a couple thousand. I'm talking about you being able to live or separate yourself from the business and it's still automated without continuously going into debt. All right. The reason why I say that is because I look at companies on the stock market who aren't in large amounts of debt, because those are the best businesses that I believe are stable, because they don't owe a lot of debt. They don't have to keep going into debt in order to make more money. At what cost? You get what I'm saying? At what cost? I've seen, and I did some research, that these type of trucks, these 18-wheelers, Peterbilt trucks or whatever, they take millions. They can run on millions of miles on this engine, but the cost, oh my God, we're talking high six figures here, high six figures. You know what I'm saying? Used Peterbilt trucks I saw on Facebook Marketplace was around it depends, how many miles it has on it, of course. But, I saw anywhere from 20,000s, the mid 30,000s, the high 40,000s for high mileage. But, you never know what you're going to get until you get it, until you test it out. But I just would not be buying something that big and then betting on the economy to be doing great in order for me to make money. Because that's what people do in these type of businesses. It's the same thing people do in Airbnbs. Oh, Airbnb, you can make a lot of money. Okay, great. Well, you sign a lease and then you owe the person who owns the property, $1,800 a month. You better hope that you're making your $1,800 a month, and then some, because you got to make your own profit, right? And so you're taking out negative equity, or you're betting on the economy doing great in order for you to make your money. And that's where most people fall. And that's where most people fall short, because they bet on a great economy in order for them to make money. It's better for you to build a business in a terrible economy, because few people survive in a terrible economy. And when it's great, It's just easy. Everybody wins. Everybody eats. Again, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Do you think trucking is worth it anymore? And are you a trucker? Has the industries changed? Has the economy turned and flipped upside down in trucking? Let me know.
Hey, it's real. It's real out here. If they was talking about before that the trucking field is slow right now, it is. And I work for a big company, and I knew the small guys were suffering, but I'm going to be real with you. A lot of us out here starting to feel the ramifications of the slowdown due to the economy. The tariffs. I went to a company, what was it, maybe 3 weeks ago, I believe. It was a pharmaceutical company. Ooh, I had to slow it down saying that word. I'm like, I was correct saying that shit. But I was up in this building, and I'm used to seeing these guys. Cool guys, Indian dudes, really thorough dudes, man. They really cool. And when I got there, I was like, damn. I said to him, why is it so dead in here? Like it's nobody around. He said, we had to get rid of people. He said, we doing really bad. I said, damn, like bad. He was like, yeah. He said we had to charge. He said, well, not we had to charge. He said we're being charged 150% onto the product. He said because we get our shipments coming from India, and I forgot the other 2 countries they come from. He said the prices is sky high. So when I was like, damn, it made me realize, like, just thinking about that today, I'm like, this is why everybody is at a standstill right now. If the prices are that out of reach, what do you think that the people that we have to deliver to, in order for them to receive their property, or should I say their product, their product, they have to pay a crazy, ridiculous price. So if they're paying that price, that means it's going to be a slowdown. Because if you was paying, say for instance, $1 something for something, now you paying damn near $7, $8. Come on, dog. Something gotta give. Something has to give. When drivers out here are being sent home early, when drivers are being told, hey, stay home today, it's very slow today, we don't have work. These are the signs of the times. These are the signs that are showing you right now that we are in a bad economy right now. Hopefully it can shapen up, start to make some changes, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen from this point on? Who knows? We wake up tomorrow, next thing you know, you don't have a job. You wake up next month, you might got downsized to only working a couple days. You never know. You don't know. It is very, very uncertain. Like, it's the uncertainty just to be able to wake up and say to yourself, if I'm going to be able to have a job next month, next week, tomorrow, you might get that phone call. You never know.
So this isn't just happening in trucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a truck driver literally talking about how the truck industry is slowing down. It's uncertain. This is happening in multiple job industries as we know it. A lot of you know that I work in IT, and the company I work for is being bought out by a bigger company. Hopefully I'd get hired by them, but if not, I do have a plan B, C, D, E, and F. But no, I'm just joking. So literally what I'm doing is I'm working on becoming getting training in a different tech role, right? But the whole point of me saying all of this is uncertainty is caused by the individual. I don't care what kind of economy we live in. There's always going to be somebody who's making money, and there's always going to be somebody who's hiring. It's just a slimmer chance of more people getting hired. Why? Because the strong prevail. And I'm not just saying that. Here's the thing. The people who put in the extra effort, the people who work more, the people who don't get excited, oh my gosh, it's almost 5 o'clock, I gotta get off, right? When you have that type of mindset, you're just training yourself to not put in extra work. You're not training yourself to become more than what you have been for the past couple of years working your 9 to 5. And this is exactly what happens when people get comfortable and then they think that the times are always going to be good, and they haven't prepared. They haven't created extra streams of revenue. They haven't prepared for their job to possibly let them go. There's no such thing as job security. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been working your job. There is no such thing. It's a false reality that people choose to live in because they believe, because they get a paycheck every 2 weeks, they're bulletproof. We have learned last year in 2025 when the government shut down that even the government workers are not having job security. They're not. And a lot of people blame Trump. Oh, Trump caused it. Trump, made the highest government shutdown record. All right, cool. And there was a government shutdown, I believe, in Obama's presidency as well. You know what I'm saying? Democrat, government shutdown. And at the time, that was the highest or the longest government shutdown in history. All right. So job security, not a real thing. What you can be secure in is your work ethic. You know why? Because nobody can control that. You control it. So if you sit down and, oh boy, don't get me started about how many Americans are distracted by watching grown men fight over an inflated ball of pig leather skin every Sunday, every weekend, streaming for people who don't even know their names, wearing their numbers, knowing the stats of their history of playing the sport. It's insane to me. There's nothing wrong with watching a sport. It's just when people, men specifically, get so obsessed with the stats of a grown ass man and then end up being in situations like this saying, man, it's slowing down. Man, but your ass still watching sports every Sunday. You care about who's winning the game. You're placing sports bets every week. You're putting your security in something else. It don't even got to be money. You don't even have to be betting or be gambling or nothing like that. You can be putting your attention somewhere else. Where your attention goes, your money flows as well. That's why they got commercials, because where your attention goes, you thought, oh, you know what? I probably do need that. Or you keep seeing the same commercial over and over again. It's exactly why these commercials, during these commercial breaks, have these little jingles that stick in your head. Liberty, 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 liberty. It's all marketing. They want you to have it in your head. So then when you're thinking of insurance, you liberty, liberty, liberty. You know what I'm saying? I can go on for days about that, man. About the whole United States, like not even whole, but like most people in the United States, they, oh man, these jobs, man, it's hard out here, man. You're distracted. You think you work hard, but you work when it's time to work. And when it's not time to work, you don't work. So you just work. That's the reality. And you ain't gonna have too many people tell you that. I'm telling you right now, I am learning from people who are older than me. I'm learning from their mistakes. I do not have to make the same mistakes. I'm learning from my past. I learned from my past mistakes. I will not repeat the same mistakes. I refuse. But one thing I do know, there's no way I'm getting job security by watching sports every weekend, being in front of this television that's literally, one of my mentors call it an EIR, and it's an electronic income reducer. You know what I'm saying? This is why I create videos like this, because I'm going to create, I'm creating a product, I'm creating productivity out of consuming content, because your phone can be an EIR as well. All right. If you made it this far, let me know. Put EIR in the comment section down below. A lot of people are going to hate me on that one, but I don't really care. Subscribe if you like the content.
Right now, it's really bad.
Are you an owner up?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the worst thing right now?
The money. The money's not there. I mean, if you're not making money, you're not motivated to work. Because I'm away from my family. I leave, 7 days.
Okay. You got a wife and kids?
Wife and 2 kids.
So what's the plan? What's next? Are we just gonna wait for better rates, or?
And they've been saying this for the past 2 years, and it's just getting worse. Fuel, the cost of maintenance is going up.
And you hold a tanker, so you have your endorsements, you have the experience.
I have the hazmat endorsement. I got all the experience, and we're supposed to be like on the top of the food chain, because we haul hazmat stuff, but they don't appreciate us anymore. I don't know if it's the broker issue, if it's the too many competition. I'm not sure, but I think brokers have a lot to do with it.
Gotcha.
Because from what I understanding is that when they book a load, it goes through 5 other brokers before it gets to us. So everybody wants to get a cut.
Right.
And by the time it gets to us, which we're the one who's doing the job, you know, we got nothing right now.
Okay, so one thing that I want to point out that he said was that he's been struggling like this for 2 years. The industry has been falling for 2 years. 2 years is a long time. 2 years is a long time, no matter what industry you're in. If you haven't adjusted off of what's happening in 2 years, it's his fault. Hands down. If you're in an industry where you are the last one to get fed, it's your fault. You should learn how to elevate. You should learn how to get promoted. And if your job doesn't promote, then learn how to use your skills that you've had at your 9 to 5 and use it in a different way to multiply or to add on to your income. I'm not a trucker. I can't tell you how to do that in trucking. But what I can say is you have those skills. And of course, you can take it somewhere else. But as you're getting paid, make money somewhere else using those same skills. You know, so many people stay stuck in the trade time for money industry, right? But the people who are making more money than them are the people who are managing the people who are trading their time for money. They make a salary. And then the people who are managing, they're making less money than the people who are communicating, making the deals, making sure that there's people who actually want to transport those goods and services. And they're just talking, they're selling, they're marketing. And then the people who are communicating make less money than the people who are imagining and making innovative ideas with how to make the transportation faster, how to create the systems, how to create more efficient vehicles, how to create less theft, making inventions about, you know, I guess trackers and trucks. There, in every industry, you have that ladder. People stay stuck in that trade time for money aspect, and they're like, by the time it gets to us, it's already, it's like his pennies. And it's because, one, people love to stay distracted. They don't want to self-improve. But if I'm being clear, quite frankly, the educational system doesn't teach you those levels either. They just don't. They teach you how to become the best worker. They don't teach you how to become innovative. They don't teach you how to become a great communicator. They might teach you how to manage, yeah, sure. Or the job might teach you how to manage, but they don't teach you how to communicate. Few people can use their mouth to earn money. Pause. Okay? Few people can learn how to articulate a conversation and make money from the words they speak. They just don't. The only times that people do this is when they get an interview and they believe they answer the questions correctly. They practice. They hope for the best. They put on a smile, put on a great outfit, and then they get the job and they're like, yes. And that's the end of their communication. They got the job, and then, the next time they communicate is when they want a raise or when they want a promotion. But they're still trading their time for money. There's no way you're going to catch me in an industry that's dying for the past 2 years and not make an adjustment. I literally have been learning last year more programming, HTML code, Java, user interface, learning how all of this works in the tech industry. I was taking a course on it, paying for the course while I'm working an IT job that had nothing to do with software development. When I saw what Google Gemini could do in 20 seconds, that would take me 2 hours, I started questioning how long is it until software developers aren't needed as much as they are now. So I stopped. It wasn't because I wanted to quit. It wasn't because I thought it was too hard. It wasn't because I didn't think I could get hired. It was because I see what AI is doing. And by the time it's time for me to want to get paid minimum $70,000 a year, it may not be that much, because how often are software developers going to be needed if AI can create exactly what I just asked it and I wasn't even aware of all the things that it coded in 20 seconds? That industry is cooked. unless they're well experienced people and well seasoned people in there, and then they're going to stay in the industry because they understand it the most. But for a beginner like me, nah, I'm out. So what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content.
Truck drivers not gonna tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you, why do most truck drivers quit within their first year? I used to think truck driving was like the easiest thing before I started driving trucks, until I actually started driving a truck and I realized it ain't that easy. So let's talk about it. Reason number one they quit, literally, is because it's dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Truck driving can be one of the most dangerous careers out here. I'm not gonna lie. People make it seem like it's not. But this could be a dangerous career depending on what field you're in. And honestly, not even what field, but just anything with driving trucks. You gotta watch out for cars, you gotta watch out for pedestrians, you gotta watch out for other truck drivers, you gotta watch out for people in general, you gotta watch out for highways, you gotta watch out for the roads. The tires might blow out on you, you could tip over, the load shifts, and next thing you know, you're sliding. If the bad weather, it's so many dangerous things that could be lost when it comes to driving trucks, or if you're not getting enough sleep. So it's so much stuff that can happen while being on this road, and we don't talk about it, but it could be a dangerous career, guys, so definitely take that shit very serious. Reason number two, your health. Listen, man, when it comes to driving trucks, I'm not gonna lie, like, your health is definitely one of those things where being out here, it can be hard to keep a balance of making sure you stay healthy while at the same time maintaining driving a truck as a career. Because one time you already gotta sit for long hours, bro, and that's already unhealthy. Just sitting in your body for long hours like that, it is not common for most people to do. To be honest, it's not the best thing to do either. Doing this driving stuff, man, it could be the one thing that either makes you a lot of money or the one thing that kills you very early. So just make sure you're not always eating all the greasiness, all the fast food, all that. Man, watch yourself when you're out here. Try to eat healthy when you can. Eat fruit, eat better stuff. Just don't do too much while out here. Make sure you get the proper rest that you can get, and just don't overdo it. That's all. Number three, I'm definitely gonna say just being lonely. You can be lonely out here on this road, man. Like, this is one of those jobs where being a solo driver could be one of the most loneliest careers. Always on the road, constantly trying to, mainly you're gonna be doing a lot of phone calls. And if you're not ready for a lot of phone calls, bro, that is gonna make it hard for you. And understanding how to adapt to this lifestyle, being inside a cubicle thing that you drive all day and eat and you go out, it's not doing too much, man. This could be a lonely career. So definitely just think about this stuff and make sure that you're able to at least have someone you can talk to, because a lot of drivers need somebody to talk to. This can be a lonely career, so make sure you're ready for it. That's it.
That's crazy, you know, and I respect what he's saying. You know, you're in there by yourself. You got to watch what you eat. I think the most important thing is seeing how other people drive. I've known a couple of people who have gotten into accidents with 18-wheelers, and they were actually truck drivers, and that was it for them. They resigned. Like, I never want to go through that again. You know, and it's a lot of trouble once an 18-wheeler gets in an accident with the car. You know, you got to deal with insurance companies, and then possibly you even losing your job. Very risky. Apparently it or at least was high paying, or still is, but it's slowed down. But let me know in the comment section down below. Do you believe truck driving is still worth it? Do you believe it's still worth it getting your CDLs? How much money do you earn if you have your CDL? You know, how long have you been trucking? Are there any bad experiences that you've had? I'm very interested. I have a cousin who is a truck driver. I have another cousin who is a warehouse manager, and he directs truck drivers. He also owns his own truck driving business. I have an uncle who was a truck driver. So yeah, I have quite a handful of people that I do know who were truck drivers and managed truck drivers. And honestly, I was thinking about it at one point too. But I had to question myself about the purpose behind the job. Did I want to do it for the money, or did I want to do it for the enjoyment? And I don't want to do a job just for the enjoyment. I don't want to do it just for the money either. But I do understand that the lifestyle that I want to live wasn't going to be able to be sustained with me being a truck driver. Personally, me, I want to be able to also travel. And of course you can do that with truck driving, but I also, I would like to be close to family at times, you know, and a lot of times they go out on the road and whatnot. So there's a time and place for everything, but it wasn't the right thing for me. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think and share your thoughts.
Truckers is quitting the industry. That over the road life ain't it, bro. They not getting paid. They not getting paid. I just showed y'all. a couple weeks ago. It's on my page. That freight miller wasn't even paying me enough money to stay on that road, to stay in that truck. Acme Transport just gave me, but before that, I think in July, around July 4th, July 5th, maybe July 3rd, Acme Transport gave me $700 for a check. I had to get gone. Now, they're saying that there is a mass is a whole lot. When they use that word, it's a whole lot of truckers out there that's quitting because they're not getting paid the money that they want to get paid from being over the road, away from their family, trucking. This dude said he getting $500 a check, 600, 700, 800. Like, nah, people are quitting, bro. People want to be appreciated. They want to feel like that that the time that they putting out over the road is worth it. If that time ain't worth it, bro, then why are you out here trucking, dog? Why you trucking? If you're not getting $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a check, why you out there trucking? You getting $500 to $200. Man, you better go work a security job, bro. Better work a security job, because if you don't got your own truck, even if you're an owner operator, you're not getting what the owner operators was making 2 or 3 years ago. This is not the truck and go rush, but what goes down must come up. So I feel it. That's why people are staying down in the trucking industry, because they feel like what go down must come up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon, though. I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon. But if it do happen, owner operators, y'all better be ready, bro, because y'all gonna be the first ones on the front line getting it in, bro. Getting it in. And I might be on the front line too, though, for real. I might buy a truck, but at the end of the day, it's like this, bro. People want to feel appreciated, bro. Like when they out there up on the roads, man, and these companies treat them like bush, like shit. It's bullshit how these companies is not valuing the drivers. Value the drivers. That's all you got to do. Value the drivers, bro.
Okay, so I just want to stand up and say something real quick. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. My man said, he feels like something is gonna pop. What goes down must come back up. Okay, all right. So if you are playing the game of I hope it goes back up, and you're being treated unfairly or being treated like shit, that's exactly why you're being treated like shit. Because they know you're gonna wait. They know you're gonna wait until you get paid more. They know you're gonna wait until the industry goes back up. So, it's a respect thing. I don't know exactly what happens in the trucking industry, but let's say you're getting treated like shit as a trucker. People aren't going to respect you until you stand up. A lot of the times, this is why protests happen. A lot of the times, this is why, there's what is it called? A strike, right? Nurses went on a strike, I think, in New York last week. So there's a lot of things happening in these different job industries, but one thing for sure, and two things for certain, make sure you have a backup plan with your income, man. I say it a million times on this channel. You know what I'm saying? Sure, what goes down must come back up. And, truthfully, I believe that, the trucking industry may have slowed down because of tariffs, more money, shipping goods or whatnot. But, I didn't do any extensive research. But if you are in the trucking industry and you do know about these things, about freight, then go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. But like him saying to be patient, he feels like it's going to go back up and not being respected at the same time. This is exactly why these companies don't value drivers. I mean, who would? Respectfully, who would? If somebody is going to stay with you, regardless of how you treat them, regardless of how little you pay them, who would? I see this happen also with like DoorDash. People are like, man, DoorDash is paying less, but they pay more when it rains. They pay more on holidays. They pay more when it was COVID, right? Because they valued you more because there was more business. But you know what? As long as business is good and people are needing them and there's plenty of you, they're not going to value you. You know what I'm saying? So it's all a matter of what are your standards? What are the principles that you live by? Personally, me, again, I've never trucked. I've DoorDashed. I've seen orders where they're super cheap and they cost miles and I need to make money. And I'm like, man, I just want to finish the night. But I always had in the back of my head that I am going to find a different way to make money versus relying on this thing. When I was door dashing, I was educating myself, listening to audiobooks, taking courses, educating myself to get in a better position where I can make more money by trading my time or make more money by creating an asset. All right, my people, let's continue on. We got the third topic of the night coming up in just a second. It's actually, oh man, this is gonna actually go crazy. It's people ruining their lives from the financial decisions that they have made. So this is actually going to be really interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that up. One sec. I don't see any comments in the comment section, so we're going to continue on. All right, let's go.
Trading ruined me, bro. I don't think I could ever work a regular 9 to 5. Like, people sit there for 8 hours just to make like $100. I hop on the charts. I'm up 400 in like 5 minutes. Once you get into trading, you never gonna look back. Trading ruined me, bro. I don't.
Okay, so we thought this was going to go in a negative way, but let me just be clear because I have friends that are in trading. I have friends that are in stocks. I'm in stocks. I've hired multiple mentors, paid thousands of dollars for mentors to teach me stocks and whatnot. So I've invested so you don't have to, I'm not going to say invest in yourself, but to learn what I've learned about trading. It's a quick gratification mindset. I don't believe in trading because you got to look at a chart, and even though people claim they make hundreds or thousands of dollars by, a couple of minutes, and they're able to just adjust a chart and adjust a candlestick and whatnot, it takes money to make money in that industry. And honestly, a lot of people burn out because they have to study the charts. They have to continuously look. You are working a 9 to 5 and you are trading because you have to make quick decisions. And even though there's automations, you're still working for the chart, bottom line. And you're always going to lose some money at the end of the day. And even though you come out with profit, you want to use that profit to make more profit, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's something that people should take full-fledged on. Again, I thought it was going to be something negative that he was going to share, but I know for sure these next couple videos are actually going to shock the hell out of you because people, the decisions they make sometimes just make you think like, were you thinking? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did this happen? And in what universe was this okay? Let's get into it.
Some financial lessons I taught the hard way. I just finished paying off my car that no longer works. I bought this car back in 2021 for $23,000, and it started giving me trouble 2 years ago, and it officially stopped working a year ago. I took it to every mechanic shop you can think of, every Honda. I took it to multiple Hondas. I contacted Honda corporate. I changed every part you can think of, and nothing was able to fix the car. Our last resort is getting a new engine for it, but they run a little bit expensive. They run from $2,000 to $3,000. I think it's expensive because my boyfriend bought me a replacement car after this one broke down for $1,200 on Facebook Marketplace that has given me no issues. The only reason I don't want to give up on this car yet is because it was $23,000. So I do want to keep trying. The engines are kind of hard to find because everybody wants the engine for this car. So as soon as one is available, it sells really fast. The lesson here was that I will never ever buy a car in payments again. It is not worth it to me. I do believe in having nice cars, but they will just have to be bought cash.
I respect that. I respect that. Buying a car cash is the best decision that you can make. It's unfortunate that her 2021 isn't working after what, a year? You know what I'm saying? A couple years? You know what I'm saying? Let's see what the comment section has to say because that was really interesting on this video. Someone said, so we have all gone through this, I see. Please tell me what to do. I've taken several Hondas in street mechanics. I've changed camshaft sensors, spark plugs, coils, and still with the same problem. I literally give up. They have a Honda as well. This is insane. Is this a problem with the same model Hondas? Let me know in the comment section down below. Someone else said, I worked at a Honda Corp. Stay away from the 10th gen Accords. Oh gosh. Someone replied and said, what would you recommend? I'm looking into a 2018 Honda Accord. And they said, just do not get the 1.5 engine or the ones with the CVT trans. Both have lots of issues. Just honestly, don't get the 10th gen Civic. This is insane. Someone said, I know what you mean. I had to rebuild one while back. I'm the mechanic. Insane. So I guess the 10th gen Honda Accords are not good cars. Let me know if you have one. Let me know what your experience has been, if you have one or if you know someone with one. Because I've heard that Honda Accords are great cars. You know, you see older ones out on the road all the time. But man, of course we know these cars aren't great, aren't made with the same quality as they used to be. Someone said, tell me what's wrong with it, and I am married to a genius mechanic. I think I can help. They replied and said the whole dashboard turns on and says everything is malfunctioning. It was like that for a year, even though Honda kept replacing parts. And about a year ago, it started going on a limp mode randomly, but I would turn it off and back on and it would run again. I started taking it to the other mechanics from that point and still no luck. And now it's stuck on limp mode. What the hell is limp mode? It doesn't drive at all. Whew. God. That's crazy, man.
15 years ago, I made a decision that completely ruined my life, and I know I'm gonna get so much hate and criticism for posting this video, but if my story helps at least one person, I will take all the hate and criticism. If you're starting college this year, if you're currently getting your college degree, or if you are a parent or know someone who's a college student, please just listen for the next 2 to 3 minutes. My name is Bradley. I went to culinary school and had no idea in the time I was getting my degree that I was completely ruining my life. Not knowing better, I went to the best of the best school, thinking I would get the best of the best outcome. A week before graduating, the school sat me down and said, congratulations, you're about to finish your degree. You're now in $137,000 of student loan debt. My monthly payment before any government programs was about $1,400 a month. And I realized in that moment I had completely ruined my life. What made my story go from bad to worse is that once I got—
Hold on, bro.
Grams was about $1,400 a month. And I realized in that moment I had completely ruined my life. What made my story go from bad to worse is that once I got into the industry with my degree, I was getting job offers for $12 to $14 an hour. From that moment on, my life completely spiraled. My mental health was completely destroyed. I developed a drinking problem. It got so bad at one point I ended up in the hospital because I had no idea how to cope with the stress that I was under. The worst part of all of it was that I was 21 years old, drowning in debt, not making a lot of money with my degree, and I had to turn to adult work, if you know what I mean by adult work. It is so unfair that I thought I was doing the right thing for myself by getting a college education, by getting a college degree, by doing what everyone told me I should do, by doing what society told me I should do, only to then ruin my life and having to turn to adult work to survive. Because I was only able to just get by with the money I was making with my college degree, and my student loan payments were half my monthly income. Instead of blaming the teenager, you should really start blaming the colleges who are allowing these situations to happen. And parents, this is where I'm calling you out. It is your responsibility to protect your child from ending up in $80, $100, $150,000 of student loan debt. It is not up to high school guidance counselors. It is not up to the university to protect your child from ending up in a financial disaster like I did. This is not me saying a higher education is not important, but this is me saying an expensive, overpriced higher education is not important. And if you just think it's my story, if you just think it's me, if you don't think it could happen to you, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who share the same story that I've shared. I beg you, 4 years of fun and getting the college experience is not worth drowning in debt for the next 10, 15, 20 years of your life. If I could go back in time as a senior in high school, knowing then what I know now, I would not have went to college right after high school. I would have graduated high school, gotten a normal job, and allowed myself to grow up. Allow myself to get to know myself, allow myself to learn how money works. Because I'm sure if I started college later in life and I learned the value of $1, there's no way I would have allowed myself to go to a college that was $30,000 to $40,000 a year. You are not a loser if you take a gap year. You are not a failure if you go to community college. You're not a nobody if you want to completely avoid getting a college degree. There are so many people and so many stories today of people who are thriving and doing amazing without going to college. If you think you want to go to college and you want to get your degree, I fully support it. But please do it as affordably as possible, and please.
I don't think he should fully support it. I think that he should support it if it's paying off to get that degree. There are a lot of degrees out here that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people don't make nearly as much money. Then to pay it off in an efficient amount of time, plus they're paying interest. Okay, hear me out. My man has over $100,000 in a college loan for a culinary arts degree. Now, the last time I checked, when we eat food, we don't ask ourselves, does he have his doctrines? How long did he go to school for? And yeah, sure, getting your culinary degree may get your foot in the door in professional areas for sure, but whew, you're getting paid $12 to $14 an hour. I remember when a couple months ago, the Trump administration had announced that they were not considering the nursing degree they're not considering the nursing degree a professional degree anymore. And a lot of nurses were mad. They were like, oh, we're not professional anymore. Okay, well, what's going to happen when you have this problem? You got to go to the hospital and got to get taken care of. When little do people know, the government considers specific degrees professional because they allow colleges to say, hey, you can charge this. We can charge this much to the person who is applying for this degree, and the government approves it. And the government says, hey, we will give you a federal loan to the student, and so you can go in to become a nurse. Well, basically, the government is saying that it's not that expensive. We're not going to give you the okay to go to nursing school anymore for this price, which is more than likely going to decrease the price of nursing school. That's what I believe it's going to do. Quote me on that, because I really wanted to see go down. I wanted to see college go down in general. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand where he's coming from. When you get out of high school, if you go to a community college, the pressure is on. Oh yeah, you're going to community college. That's not a real college. Or you have to go into college right after high school. You haven't even probably understood the value of $1 of the job industry or anything like that, or living expenses, before you even sign a paper that you can't even pay money back on yet because you haven't even become established yet. It is insane how much pressure is added to a teenager coming out of high school, signing over their life $100,000 in debt on a degree that pays a fraction of that. It's insane to me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What degree did you go into school for, and was it worth it? Let me know, because he said his student loan payment is $1,400 a month. That's somebody rent. That's somebody rent, man.
So I feel like I'm drowning, financially drowning. So back in April, I had a baby, and I decided to take 9 weeks off. Now I have had 4 children now working at the same company, so I kind of knew how things went. I took 9 weeks thinking that my insurance was going to pay 8 weeks. But because they run it under short-term disability, you have to be off the week, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's why I took 9. Anyway, long story short, they only paid me for 6. And when they do pay you, it's like a max of $250 a week. So when you go and you have to pay back your insurance on a bi-weekly basis and the taxes that come out of there, you're getting basically $200. So I was not paid very much. The last 3 weeks that I was off, I was paid nothing. Everything that I had saved from my taxes, gone. I spent all of it, everything. That also meant that I was like behind on, I'm a month behind on my car payment. I have a few credit card bills that I was paying the bare minimum, and I got behind on those. And so now everybody and their brother is calling me and wants their money and wants their money and wants their money and wants their money and late fees and this and that. and it just adds up. It's a spiraling ball, right? So here I was making progress, and now I'm retracted in progress. And then just the other day, my TV broke, and now I need to buy a whole nother TV. And so there's that. And now there's school supplies and the fair's coming up that I take my kids to every year. And I'm paying extra money because I want to send my middle daughter to Washington, D.C. this next spring. So it's financially drained. I don't know how any of you get ahead. I don't know how any of you have a savings. I don't know how
If you're not wealthy, you can't afford to watch TV. Poor people don't deserve to watch TV. I said what I said. She's complaining about, well, she's not even complaining. She's just talking about the problems that she has. I don't know how to get ahead. I don't know how people get ahead. I don't know how people earn this much money and have this much money up. And, it's unfortunate to hear her go through this situation, but when she said TV, man, it just threw me off. I'm like, hold on, bro. Did you just say your TV broke? First of all, why you got a TV at all? Earlier in this show, we talked about a TV not being a television, but the real name of a TV, y'all, is an EIR. Shout out to Myron Golden on that one. It's called an electronic income reducer. Okay, it keeps you distracted. You don't earn money when you watch TV. You don't earn money when you scroll on social media. And it's an electronic income reducer. This is why, if you're not wealthy, you don't deserve to watch TV. Bottom line, a lot of people like to watch grown-ass men fight over an inflated ball covered in pigskin on the weekdays, on the weekends, whatever. And then they know the stats of each player and all. If you're not wealthy, you don't deserve to watch TV. So many people underestimate what could happen, and they're so stuck in where I'm at. I'm going to tell you this. It's only going to take me one time to understand that. I lived on my own for 3 years, running my own business, made 6 figures. It was up and down. I was watching TV. I was playing a video game. I got comfortable. Made some money, made a $6,000 weekend. Man, I'm chilling. I can make another $6,000 another weekend too. Blew the money. Rent due. All right, let me run it up again. Making money. Oop, little short. Up, overspent. Oop, whew. Shouldn't have bought that. Car problem happened. Oh man, what am I gonna do now? Most people are distracted. I remember reading this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it talked about how the American dream is, you graduate college, you get a degree, you get a high-paying job. Okay, great. You find a significant other, you get a house with a white picket fence. You buy furniture for the house. Oh, time to start a family. Oh, we want more kids. Time to upgrade the house, get more furniture. Oh, we want to raise. By that time, you've gotten a car payment. You're in debt from mortgage. You're in debt from a car loan. You got kids you got to take care of for 18 plus years. Because let's be honest here, you're taking care of your kids. If you're a present parent, you're taking care of your kids past 18 because they're not ready at 18. They graduate in high school at 17, 18. So yeah, you're taking care of your kids for 18 plus years. They got to go to college. Hopefully you saved up enough money for college now because, it's going to be more expensive. You're taking out loans for that too because guess what? Little Jimmy didn't get a scholarship. Underestimate life. Underestimate distractions. Oh, I deserve to take a break. A lot of people are going to be in the comment section. Well, who are you to tell us that if you're not wealthy, you don't deserve to watch TV? I'm Jay Askew, and I've watched TV, and I approve this message, and it kept me broke as fuck. And I still watch TV, y'all. But before I watch TV, I make sure I'm a producer before I'm a consumer. See, wealth doesn't always have to be with money. It can be with assets. If your assets are generating income for you, then you don't have to worry about always working overtime. Working overtime is part of the grind in order for you to pour money into the asset, and the asset makes you money. But most people think, oh, I got a home, it's an asset. No, it's an asset to the bank because they can take that shit back and sell it to someone else, and you still be liable for it, and they gonna make money from it. If you're not making money from your house, it's not an asset. A lot of people get into this trap of signing their name on something that they owe money on, and then they wonder, why am I in this position? She's worried about her kids, her job, how little she got paid because she was pregnant, and then a broken TV. This is what's wrong. And I know it's just a small part of her story. But if you're distracted, you're going to miss on what's not to do. For example, building a family and you're not financially secure. Oh, I got a great job. I've been working for 5 years. You're not financially secure. You're getting paid on one income stream and you're betting all of it. You know how people say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You're putting all your eggs in one basket and you're putting yourself in your own basket. And it's not even your basket. It's somebody else's basket. So they can dump you out of it whenever they want to. Man, subscribe if you like the content, man. I'm not. Bro, I'm done. She just talked about her TV while she's crying or talking, not crying respectfully, but talking about how bad it is for her right now for her to save up money. All right, my people, we got the last video topic of tonight. All right, this is the highlight of tonight, actually. This is the store that supports Trump, MAGA store. I call it the MAGA store, the MAGA coffee store. All right. They're losing business for supporting Trump. Let's see what's going on.
One hot, one ice. Cindy Cortez and her husband own the coffee shop where the liberal ladies meet. They moved from Nashville to Mount Juliet 2 years ago and are Trump supporters.
There's something that in these kind of suburbia, Nashville, that we really hold dear, and that's our love for God at first, and then our love for family, and then our love for country.
Luis Cortez cannot vote. His parents crossed illegally from Mexico when he was a child. They were deported when Luis was 17. He was allowed to stay.
I was part of the program that President Obama started with the DACA.
Luis has permanent resident status now and hopes to one day become a citizen.
Is your daughter graduating yet?
Cindy voted for Obama, then Hillary Clinton. But Trump in 2020 and 2024, because she says being a parent and owning a business have made her more conservative. Tariffs on coffee and paper goods hurt their bottom line. But they say Trump deserves more time for things to settle. Both like the president's crackdown on illegal crossings, but aggressive deportation roundups give them pause.
The means at which we're getting there is difficult. It's not comfortable to watch, and it's definitely affected Latin American communities.
Cindy's 2026 thinking is important. She voted for Republican Andy Ogles in 2024, but hopes he loses in the GOP primary next year.
I can't put a vote for a candidate that I just don't feel just embodies the values that matter to us. And a strong character and honest character is important.
And if Ogles wins the primary?
I'm not opposed to voting for a Democratic candidate. Okay.
Parnassus Books is in the 5th District slice of Nashville. Lisa Quigley lives a few miles away in the 7th District piece of the city. She was chief of staff to the last Democrat to represent Nashville when it was all one district. He was a centrist, and Quigley's experience tells her moderates have a better shot in the suburbs and the rural counties. But the surge of energy among progressives in the special election was eye-opening.
And when they turned to see who our nominee was, it was somebody who was fighting, who was talking about affordability, who was very aggressive, and voters here liked that.
Quigley says the new Democratic energy here is real and predicts crowded primaries for the House seats. Yes, that just about guarantees tension between Democratic liberals and moderates. But Quigley believes at least 2 of the 3 House seats can be competitive.
You think there's something in the water?
There's something happening. There's something happening. And so as long as we are smart enough to put our best players on the field, I think we're going to be able to take advantage of that. And I think that next November is going to be a big year for us.
Country and Western go together here. Democrats and optimism usually do not. So it may turn out to be all hat, no cattle. But at the moment, Democrats see a chance for a Music City comeback. John King, CNN.
You know what's crazy, man? When it comes down to principles, a lot of people go against what Trump is doing because they know he's a loudmouth. They know that he's offensive when he talks, and they get really emotional about how he talks, right? Now, I'm gonna just be clear with you. Working in sales for 5 years, I became bulletproof, and I grew thicker skin with how people communicate because you have to be a great communicator yourself in order for your message to get across, and let alone have people want to believe in your idea. So I can understand how people, get offended by what Trump says, let alone what he does, but what he says and how he says it. But as we heard, there was a business owner in the first segment, and they talked about how she owned a business and she supported Trump because how she was going to benefit as a business owner. A lot of people look at Trump and say, oh, well, he's gone bankrupt so many times. And a lot of y'all haven't started businesses, have you? Because you fail in business. You have to get back up in business. Entrepreneurs fail all the time. It's not about failing, it's about how much tenacity you have in order to find a solution. Failure is a part of the process. Now, if we're talking political views and her shop, and based off of their lifestyle and her partner, I don't know if that was her husband or her work partner or whatnot, but the gentleman's family were, illegal immigrants and brought him over, and he's a citizen now. They even said they got deported. I made a deportation video of, not a deportation video, but an ICE video of a lady who was protesting ICE, trying to stop them, and ended up getting a gun pointed at her. I'm going to just say this and just say it one time. If someone's doing something illegal, they need to be removed from the public. Because not only are you endangering the people who are legal citizens, but you're here illegally. And there's a right or wrong way to do things like this. But what I will say is, if we go over there and do the same thing in their country, there's going to be consequences. There just is. And so, obviously, criminals, people who are doing things illegal, are not going to raise their hand like they're in class and say, hey, I'm right here, I'm turning myself in. So, how else do you pick these people out? And yes, it's unfortunate that innocent people are being asked and profiled. It's sad. And a lot of people are against it. They're like, oh, they don't have a right to ask. Well, the last time I checked, if I am innocent, I'm definitely going to prove that I'm innocent. I have no problem proving that I'm innocent. I'm not going to fight somebody because I think that they shouldn't ask. I'm like, bro, I'm innocent, bro. You know what I'm saying? What's up, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? I got my documents. I've heard plenty from the demographic of people who have been identified as illegals or people who are legal citizens, explain that they don't have a problem showing and revealing that they are legal citizens. But you're always going to have people who rebel. And you always hear from people who aren't even a part of that equation, causing more turmoil than what it is. There's so much going on right now. Deportation, tax fraud, ICE, tariffs. You can't just literally look at tariffs and say, well, you know what? I'm not voting Trump because it's tariffs. You know what? I don't like what's going on with deportation, so I'm not going to vote for Trump. Like, listen, if somebody was living illegally on your home, you probably want them removed, right? Because they're not supposed to be there. If someone was charging you more money to receive the same product and you're not charging them more money, you'd probably want to at least come out even. At least come out even. People are offended by that. It's insane to me how people let their emotions dictate their decisions. You even heard the ladies talking about how I feel, how Trump feels about the situation. You know, I could see myself voting Democrat. How you feel? Let's remove our emotions before we make a decision. See, I live by principles. I like to put things into different perspective and look through different lenses because they allow me to make a clear decision, look at both sides, and make a confident decision, not an emotional decision. Emotions are wavy, emotions change. Let me know what your thoughts of this in the comment section down below. I do think we got to give Trump time, even though there's a ton of turmoil right now. But whenever you change something, there's always going to be a lot of turmoil. There was turmoil when it was damn Jim Crow laws and stuff, riots and fights, and it was crazy, man. We don't even have to live in those times to know they was crazy. Times were changing. They're changing right now as well, and it's only going to be a war between the have and have-nots, the wealthy and the poor. There is no such thing as the middle class. That's what I believe about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content. Let's get it. All right, my people. That's it for tonight's show. I appreciate everybody for watching. Appreciate everybody for subscribing. If you like it, even if you dislike it, I look. We speaking the truth up in here, okay? I don't really care. But for those who support me, I appreciate it. We're going live tomorrow. All right, we got more topics coming up tomorrow as well. 9:30 p.m. EST. I will see you tomorrow. Let's get it.